Okay, so this video is picking up where I got cut off in our last video. So we're looking at our graphs, remember? We had looked at number 10, talking about how since these 2 points are graphed right above each other, that means that they have the same x value, which means there's a repeating x value of positive 1, sorry. That means that it's not a function. All right, so I want us to look at number 13 because I think some of us were confused about this one when I had you guys turn these into me yesterday on Thursday. So let's go over this a little bit. One thing that you should have watched a couple of videos about but might still be confusing is something called the vertical line test. So the vertical line test is where we take a vertical line, and at home, you guys can use your pencil, you can use the edge of a piece of paper. There's a lot of different ways you can kind of make a vertical line. So I'm going to do my best to make a vertical line. So we're going to use this vertical line, and what you do is you move it to the left, from the left of your graph to the right of your graph, and see how many times it crosses your graph. So, kind of vague. Let's look at an example. So for number 10, if I move this left to right, there's 1 point right here that we cross, only crosses once, so we're good. Crosses once there, but where we get to where we already talked about, where we have those repeated y values, look, this point crosses it here. This point also crosses that same line at the same time. So, since my graph, these points, cross my vertical line twice, that means that this is not a function. A function will only cross my graph once. So, if we kind of do the same thing over here, if I start on the left side of my graph, let's give ourselves a vertical line there, vertical line here, vertical line here, vertical line here, and maybe one more on the end. So if we try to identify where our vertical lines cross, let's use green maybe. This vertical line crosses my graph once here. This vertical line crosses my graph once here. This vertical line crosses my graph once here, and just once here. Whereas if we went back over here, we had it cross once here and here. So this graph crosses our line twice, which means it fails the vertical line test. Since this graph only crosses my vertical lines once everywhere, this means that it passes the vertical line test, so it is a function. So let's see if we can kind of write this out a little bit. Let's use green. So the vertical line test is you move a vertical line left to right on your graph. If your graph crosses the line only once everywhere, then it is a function. So this is kind of our main definition for the vertical line test. So for this one, we know that, yes, this curvy graph looks weird, but yes, it is a function. Let's take a quick second to kind of talk about domain and range of this graph, because I think we were a little confused. So I want us to first kind of they weren't drawn on your worksheet, but let's think about it this way. We are going to put 2 arrows on the end of our graph here. This means that my graph keeps going forever and ever in the left direction and forever and ever in the right direction. Since it keeps going forever and ever to the left and to the right, that means that my x values also keep going. So if we wanted to label our domain for this graph, our domain is going to be negative infinity, and again, draw the symbols up, that helps you, to positive infinity. Okay, the range is a little bit different though, because my graph doesn't keep going forever or ever this way. My graph starts here at positive 2. So my range for this graph, I'm running out of time. My range is going to be positive 2 to infinity, because it keeps going forever and ever up. Keeps going forever and ever up. All right, that was our crash course.